The vastness of space stretched endlessly before the stellar pioneer as it glided silently through the star-scattered void. The ship's powerful sensors swept the darkness, searching for mineral-rich asteroids and promising planetary bodies. The gentle hum of the engines provided a soothing backdrop to the quiet efficiency of the bridge crew. Captain Ji-woo Kim tapped her fingers thoughtfully on the armrest of her command chair. Her dark eyes studied the holographic display hovering before her, tracking the constantly updating stream of sensor data. After 15 years in deep space exploration, she had learned to trust her instincts, and something about this sector felt different. The bridge crew worked their stations with practiced precision. Science Officer Han Bin Lee hunched over his console, his face bathed in the blue glow of his screens. He had been adjusting the scanning parameters for the past hour, trying to make sense of some unusual readings at the edge of their sensor range. "There's something out there," Han Bin muttered, more to himself than anyone else. His fingers flew across the controls as he refined the sensor focus. Something big. Navigation Officer Suji Park glanced over at his station. "Asteroid cluster?" she asked, already plotting potential course adjustments. Han Bin shook his head, his expression growing more intense. "No, these readings are too uniform." He trailed off as new data streamed across his screen. His eyes widened. "Captain, you need to see this." Ji-woo was already moving to his station, noting the urgency in his voice. The rest of the bridge crew turned their attention to Han Bin's display as he brought up a three-dimensional projection of the sensor readings. "Look at this structure," Han Bin said, highlighting a massive object floating in space. "It's clearly artificial, but our database has no record of any human construction in this sector. The design is like nothing we've ever seen." As the image resolved, the bridge fell silent. Floating in the void was what appeared to be an enormous structure, its surface composed of crystalline panels that caught and reflected the light of distant stars. The overall shape reminded Ji-woo of a flower beginning to bloom, with graceful spires and curved sections that seemed to defy the usual rules of space architecture. "Are we getting any power readings?" Ji-woo asked, studying the projection from different angles. Han Bin adjusted his instruments. "Yes, but they're very faint. Whatever it is, it's still operational, at least partially. Life signs? None that I can detect, but..." Han Bin frowned at his readings. "The station's hull material is interfering with our deeper scans. We'd need to get closer for a more accurate reading." Ji-woo straightened up, making a decision. "Suji, take us in closer, but maintain a safe distance. Junho, run a full spectrum analysis of that structure. I want to know everything about it before we consider any closer approach." As the stellar pioneer altered course, the massive station grew larger in their view screens. The crystalline surfaces seemed to shift and shimmer as they caught different angles of starlight, creating an almost hypnotic effect. The intricate patterns and flowing lines of its construction spoke of an advanced civilization far beyond current human capabilities. Engineer Min-ho Choi spoke up from his station, his voice filled with professional admiration. "Look at those construction techniques. The way the segments flow together, it's like it was grown rather than built. We don't have anything even close to this level of engineering." "How old do you think it is?" Ji-woo asked, not taking her eyes off the structure. Han Bin consulted his readings. Based on the decay rate of the exterior materials, at least several thousand years, maybe much older. The implications of their discovery began to sink in. They had found clear evidence of an advanced alien civilization, one that had been capable of constructing massive space stations when humans were still figuring out basic agriculture. "Send a message to Earth Command," Ji-woo ordered, her voice steady despite her growing excitement. "Market Priority 1. Include all our sensor data and preliminary analysis." As the communications officer began composing the message, Ji-woo returned to her command chair, studying the mysterious station. In all her years of space exploration, she had never encountered anything like this. The station hung in space like a silent sentinel, its gleaming surfaces holding countless secrets, waiting to be discovered. Something caught her eye, a regular pattern of lights beginning to activate along one of the station's spires. Hanbin, are you seeing this? Yes, Captain. Power readings are increasing. It appears the station is responding to our presence. Jai Wu leaned forward in her chair, her heart racing with a mixture of anticipation and caution. After thousands of years in the void, the ancient station was waking up. What they would find inside would change humanity's understanding of the universe forever. Security Officer Eugene Park double-checked the seals on her exploration suit as the boarding team assembled in the Stellar Pioneer's airlock. Her fingers moved with practiced efficiency over the equipment, each motion precise and deliberate. Beside her, Engineer Dahai Kang and Medical Officer Taidum Choi performed their own equipment checks. Remember, Eugene said to her team, we stay together. No wandering off, no matter what we find in there. She had led numerous boarding operations before, but something about this station made her extra cautious. The airlock cycled, and they pushed off toward the station's entrance point. Their suit lights illuminated the crystalline surface, revealing intricate patterns that seemed to shift and flow beneath the surface. As they approached, a section of the hull smoothly retracted, creating an opening just large enough for their team to enter. That's interesting, Dahai said, studying the doorway. The station recognized our approach and adjusted the entry point to match our ship's airlock specifications. Inside, they found themselves in a decontamination chamber. Soft blue light pulsed around them, and they felt a gentle vibration through their suits. After a moment, the inner doors opened silently. Taiyum consulted his instruments. Atmospheric readings are, this can't be right. He tapped the display. The air in here is perfectly composed for human breathing. Oxygen, nitrogen, trace gases, all in ideal proportions. Could it be coincidence? Dehai asked. The temperature is exactly 22 degrees Celsius. Taiyum continued. Perfect room temperature for humans. This isn't coincidence. Eugene made a decision. Let's keep our helmets on for now, but at least we know we have breathable air if there's an emergency. They moved forward into a vast corridor. Their boots touched down on a surface that looked like polished marble, but felt slightly springy under their feet. The walls curved gracefully upward, meeting in an arch high above their heads. Everything was pristine, as if the station had been cleaned just moments before their arrival. Dehai ran her scanner along the walls. These materials, they're self-repairing. The entire station is basically maintaining itself. Their lights revealed more of the corridor ahead. At regular intervals, what appeared to be doors or access points lined the walls. As they passed the first one, it whispered open, revealing a room filled with strange equipment. Hold position, Eugene ordered, raising her hand. The team stopped, watching as soft lights activated within the room, illuminating workstations and control panels that looked both alien and somehow familiar. Dahai approached one of the terminals, her engineer's curiosity evident in her movements. As she neared it, the surface came to life, displaying holographic symbols that floated in the air. She reached out cautiously, and the symbols responded to her movement, rearranging themselves. It's adapting to me, she said, wonder in her voice. The interface is changing, becoming more intuitive for human use. Taeyong was studying his medical scanner with increasing amazement. The station's environmental systems aren't just functioning, they're operating at peak efficiency. After thousands of years, everything's working perfectly. They continued down the corridor, each step revealing new marvels. The station seemed to come alive around them, responding to their presence with subtle changes in lighting and temperature. Doors opened automatically as they approached, revealing laboratories, living quarters, and rooms filled with technology they couldn't begin to understand. Listen, Eugene said suddenly, holding up her hand again. The team fell silent. In the quiet, they could hear the faint hum of machinery, the gentle whisper of air circulation, and something else, a barely perceptible rhythm that seemed to pulse through the station's structure itself. "It's like a heartbeat," Taeyong whispered. Dahai had moved to another terminal, this one larger than the first. As she approached, it activated, projecting a three-dimensional map of the station into the air. The display showed their location and highlighted various sections of the structure. "Look at this," she called to the others. "This station, it's massive. What we're seeing is just a tiny fraction. There are research labs, living areas, something that might be a power core." She paused, studying the symbols, and something at the center. Something big. Yu-Jin looked at the map, then at her team. The mystery of the station deepened with every discovery. Who had built this place? Why had they left it in such perfect condition? And most importantly, why did everything seem so perfectly suited for human visitors? "We need to report back to the ship," she decided. "Captain Kim needs to see this. Whatever this place is, it's clear we're not just dealing with an abandoned station. This place was waiting for someone to find it." As they turned to head back to the airlock, the lights in the corridor shifted slightly, creating a subtle path for them to follow. The station was guiding them, helping them, like a silent host ensuring the comfort of its guests. The team exchanged glances. They had trained for first contact scenarios, but nothing had prepared them for this, an alien structure that seemed to welcome them as if they were expected guests returning home after a long absence. The central database chamber took Min Seo-song's breath away. The circular room stretched upward into darkness, its walls lined with softly glowing panels that pulsed with streams of light. She stood at a circular console in the center, surrounded by floating holographic displays that filled the air around her like a cloud of glowing butterflies. Captain Ji-Woo Kim watched from nearby as Min Seo worked. The communications officer's fingers moved across the alien interface with growing confidence. After 3 days of studying the station's systems, the team had made remarkable progress in understanding its basic functions. "The station is actively helping us learn," Min Seo explained, not taking her eyes off the displays. "When we make a mistake, it adjusts its responses. When we understand something correctly, it builds on that knowledge. It's like having the world's most patient teacher." Another member of the research team, data analyst Ho Seok Rim, stood at a secondary console, recording and categorizing the massive amounts of information they were discovering. "The organizational structure is incredible," he said. "Everything is interconnected, cross-referenced. It's not just storing data, it's preserving knowledge in its full context." Min Seo's hands paused over the controls as new symbols appeared before her. "Captain, I think I've found something important." She gestured at the display, and the symbols rearranged themselves into a three-dimensional star map. "This shows the extent of their civilization. Look at the scale." Ji-Woo stepped closer, her eyes widening as she understood what she was seeing. The map showed thousands of worlds, all connected by a network of travel routes and communication links. It was an empire that spanned a significant portion of the galaxy. "But where are they now?" Ji-Woo asked, voicing the question that had been on everyone's mind. Min Seo's fingers moved again, and the display shifted to show what appeared to be historical records. "That's what's strange. According to these entries, they didn't die out or leave. The final records talk about transformation." The holographic displays shifted again, showing sequences of complex equations and diagrams. Ho Seok moved to a different console, pulling up additional data. "These are physics formulas, but they're like nothing I've ever seen. They're describing something beyond our current understanding of space and time." As they worked, the chamber's lights seemed to respond to their growing comprehension, brightening and dimming in patterns that matched their discussions. Min Seo noticed that the more they understood, the more the station revealed to them. "Look at this," she said, bringing up a new set of records. The station itself was built as part of some grand experiment. They were trying to. She paused, struggling to translate the complex concepts. They were trying to transcend physical form entirely. Ji-Woo leaned in closer. You mean they were trying to evolve beyond their bodies? Not just their bodies, Min Seo replied. They were attempting to move beyond the limitations of three-dimensional space itself. The last entries suggest they succeeded. The displays around them shifted again, showing what appeared to be the final records of the civilization. The symbols pulsed with a gentle light as Min Seo translated them. They left this station as a legacy, she explained, a way to preserve their knowledge until they found others who were ready to understand it. The station isn't just teaching us their language, it's evaluating our ability to comprehend their discoveries. Ho Seok called out from his console, "Captain, I'm finding references to other stations like this one." They seeded them throughout the galaxy, waiting for species that could understand their significance. As if responding to his words, new displays appeared, showing maps of other stations hidden throughout space. Some appeared to have been destroyed by natural phenomena over the millennia, while others remained dormant, waiting to be discovered. Our station activated because we approached it the right way, Min Seo realized. It sensed our curiosity, our desire to understand rather than conquer. The implications of their discovery began to sink in. This wasn't just a repository of alien technology. It was a doorway to a level of understanding that humanity had barely dreamed of. Jigwoo squared her shoulders, making a decision. We need to proceed carefully with this knowledge. Copy everything you can. I want multiple backups of all these records. And Min Seo. Yes, Captain. Focus on those final entries. If we're going to understand what happened to them, that's where we'll find our answers. As the team continued their work, the chamber's lights pulsed in rhythm with their activities, as if the station itself was pleased with their progress. They were beginning to understand that they hadn't just found an abandoned alien outpost. They had discovered humanity's invitation to join something far greater than themselves. Through the night cycle, Min Seo remained at her station, piecing together the story of a civilization that had evolved beyond the physical realm, leaving behind this extraordinary gift for those who would follow in their footsteps. Engineer Dahai walked through the station's curved corridors, her footsteps echoing in the empty space. She carried her tablet, recording the strange events that had started occurring throughout the station. The lights above her flickered slightly, tracking her movement in a way that made the hair on the back of her neck stand up. She stopped at an intersection, checking her map. As she studied the display, a tool from her belt quietly lifted itself and floated a few centimeters into the air. Dehai turned just in time to see it settle back into place, as if nothing had happened. "Control, are you seeing this?" She spoke into her communicator, her voice steadied despite her racing heart. "Affirmative." Han Bin's voice crackled through. "Getting strange energy readings from your location. What just happened?" Before she could answer, a door to her right slid open. The room beyond was dark, but as she watched, lights activated in sequence, creating a path deeper inside. Dehai hesitated, then stepped through the doorway. "I'm detecting unusual power fluctuations," Han Bin continued. "The station's systems are active in ways we haven't seen before." The room contained what appeared to be a laboratory. As Dehai moved between the workstations, screens came to life around her, displaying streams of data. She caught her reflection in one of the darkened screens and froze. Behind her reflection, she saw a tall, shadowy figure moving. She spun around. The room was empty. "Han Bin," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I think I just saw something. Someone." Back on the bridge of the Stellar Pioneer, Han Bin studied his instruments with growing concern. The station's power signature had changed dramatically over the past few hours. Energy patterns pulsed through its systems in complex waves. Captain Ji Woo Kim stood behind him, watching the readings. "What do you make of it?" "The station is running some kind of deep scan," Han Bin explained. "It's examining everything. Our technology, our biology, even our behavioral patterns. It's like we're being tested." Reports began coming in from other team members. Medical Officer Tai Young reported that the medical bay's equipment had rearranged itself while he was out of the room. Security Officer Yu Jin described sensors detecting movement in sealed sections of the station. In the database chamber, Min Seo watched as new symbols appeared on her screens without any input from her. The station's AI was becoming more active, more direct in its interactions. "Captain," she called over the comm, "the station's language patterns are changing. It's not just teaching us anymore. It's trying to tell us something." Jia Wu gathered her senior staff in the main conference room aboard the Stellar Pioneer. The station loomed outside the viewport, its crystalline surface seeming to shimmer with internal light. "Report," she commanded, looking at each of her officers in turn. Han Bin brought up a holographic display of the station's power grid. "The energy patterns are becoming more organized. Whatever the station is doing, it's building toward something." Dehai spoke next, her voice thoughtful. "The technology is responding to us in increasingly sophisticated ways. It's like the station is learning about us through our interactions with it." "Could it be dangerous?" Yu Jin asked, her security training coming to the fore. Min Seo shook her head. "I don't think so. From what I've translated, the station was designed to evaluate potential species. We might be in the middle of some kind of assessment protocol." As if to confirm her words, the lights in the conference room dimmed slightly, and all their tablets activated simultaneously, displaying the same strange symbol. "It's watching us right now," Han Bin said quietly, checking his readings. "Everything we do, everything we say, it's all being analyzed." Jai Wu stood up and walked to the viewport, studying the station. "So we're being tested. The question is, for what?" The symbol on their tablets changed, morphing into a complex pattern that seemed to pulse with its own inner light. Min Seo leaned forward, her eyes widening in recognition. "Captain," she said, "I think the station is ready to show us why it was really built." As the team discussed their next steps, none of them noticed the subtle changes taking place around them. The station's systems were aligning, preparing for something that would change humanity's understanding of the universe forever. Through the viewport, the station's crystalline surface began to pulse with a deeper light, like a heart beginning to beat faster. The testing phase was coming to an end. Soon, the true purpose of the ancient structure would be revealed. The central chamber of the station filled with soft blue light as holographic patterns began forming in the air. Captain Ji Woo Kim and her senior staff watched in awe as the swirling patterns coalesced into a form that seemed both alien and familiar, a shifting, crystalline structure that pulsed with inner light. Min Seo's translation interface came alive with new symbols. She worked quickly, her fingers dancing across the controls as she interpreted the incoming message. The holographic form waited patiently, its patterns shifting like waves in an ocean of light. "I can understand it now," Min Seo said, her voice filled with wonder. "The AI. It's adjusted its communication to match our language patterns." The crystalline form expanded, filling the chamber with threads of light that connected to each person present. When it spoke, its words came through Min Seo's translator in perfect clarity. "We have observed your exploration of this facility," the AI began, its voice carrying a musical quality that seemed to resonate within their minds. "Your methods reveal much about your species." Jai Wu stepped forward. "We came seeking knowledge, hoping to learn." "Yes," the AI responded. "This is what sets you apart. Previous visitors to this station sought weapons, power, control. They saw only what they could take. You seek to understand." The holographic display shifted, showing images of other ships, other species that had discovered the station over the millennia. Some had attempted to force their way in. Others had tried to steal its technology. All have failed the subtle tests built into the station's systems. "Your species possesses something rare," the AI continued. "You combine technological achievement with emotional intelligence. You show curiosity tempered by caution, ambition balanced with wisdom." Han Bin studied his readings as the AI spoke. "The station's power systems are fully active now. Whatever it's been building toward, this is it." The AI's form pulsed with brighter light. We left these stations as guardians of our legacy. They wait for those who might be ready to join us. Not all who find them are prepared. Many are turned away. Images appeared around them, scenes from human history. They saw moments of both triumph and tragedy, creativity and destruction, kindness and cruelty. The AI had been studying their entire species through the station's database. You are not perfect, the AI observed. You struggle, you fail, you learn. This, too, is important. Perfection is not what we seek in our successors. We seek potential. Dahai watched as tools and equipment around the chamber began to move on their own, arranging themselves in complex patterns. All the strange occurrences, they were tests. Each interaction revealed more about your nature, the AI confirmed. How you approached unknown technology, how you responded to apparent anomalies, how you worked together to solve problems. The holographic display shifted again, showing the station's true purpose, not just as a repository of knowledge, but as a gateway to something far greater. Your species stands at a crossroads, the AI said. You have begun to reach for the stars, but you have not yet grasped your full potential. We offer you a choice. Jewu felt the weight of the moment. What kind of choice? To remain as you are, or to take the first steps toward joining a larger community of consciousness. We do not interfere with developing species, but we do offer guidance to those who prove themselves ready. Min Sio's translation interface showed complex equations and concepts that seemed to defy ordinary physics. These are instructions, she realized. Technologies beyond our current understanding. The beginning of a path, the AI corrected. One that your species must choose to walk on its own terms, at its own pace. We offer knowledge, not salvation. The choices remain yours. The chamber filled with images of possibilities, futures that humanity might achieve with this new understanding. Not conquest or domination, but growth, exploration, and discovery. Your arrival here was not chance, the AI revealed. This station recognized your potential long before you found it. It called to you in ways your conscious minds could not perceive. You were drawn here because you were ready to be tested. The senior staff exchanged glances, understanding the magnitude of what they were being offered. This wasn't just first contact with an alien intelligence. It was an invitation to join something far greater than themselves. The trial is complete, the AI announced. The choice now lies before you. Will humanity accept its place among the stars? Jewu looked at her crew, seeing the same mix of excitement and apprehension on their faces that she felt herself. They had come seeking minerals and resources. Instead, they had found humanity's next great leap forward. The crystalline form of the AI waited patiently for their response, its light pulsing gently in the chamber. The moment of decision had arrived, and with it, the potential to change the course of human history forever. The AI's holographic form expanded throughout the chamber, creating a vast display of interconnected light patterns. Captain Jewu watched as images from human history flowed around them, moments of scientific breakthrough alongside acts of kindness, technological advances paired with artistic achievements. We have watched your species for a long time, the AI said through Min Sio's translator. From your first steps into space, we observed how you would develop. The display showed the first human satellites, early space missions, the International Space Station, and the first colonies on Mars. Alongside these images were others, humans helping each other during disasters, protecting endangered species, creating music and art. The station is not merely a structure, the AI continued. It is a seed of knowledge, planted here by those who came before. They understood that true advancement requires more than technological power. Han Bin studied the readings on his tablet. The energy patterns, they're like nothing we've ever seen. The station isn't just powered by advanced technology. It's alive in its own way. The AI's form pulsed in response. Living technology, the merging of artificial and organic. This was one of our first steps toward transcendence. Through the holographic display, they watched as previous species discovered the station. Some approached with weapons drawn, seeking to claim it by force. Others tried to steal its secrets, caring only for power. Each failed the subtle tests woven into every interaction with the station's systems. Your response was different, the AI explained. When you found unusual readings, you investigated with caution. When you discovered new technology, you sought to understand it rather than exploit it. When faced with strange occurrences, you remained calm and worked together. Dehai stepped forward, her engineer's curiosity evident. The moving equipment, the strange reflections, you were testing how we would react to the unknown. Yes, fear or aggression would have marked you as unready. Instead, you showed curiosity tempered with wisdom. The chamber filled with new images, the crew's own actions since discovering the station. Every decision, every conversation, every response had been part of the evaluation. But it was more than just your actions here, the AI continued. We observed your species' response to challenges on your home world. Despite having the power to destroy yourselves, you chose to preserve. Despite the ability to dominate nature, you began to protect it. Min Sio's translation interface displayed complex sequences of data. These are records of other species, she realized. Thousands of them. Many have found this station and others like it, the AI confirmed. Few demonstrated the balance required for the next step. Technical knowledge without wisdom leads to destruction. Emotional development without scientific understanding leaves a species trapped in limitation. A holographic display shifted to show the vast network of similar stations scattered throughout the galaxy. Each one waited for species that might be ready to join a greater community of consciousness. Your people face many challenges, the AI acknowledged. You struggle with division, with resource management, with the consequences of your technological growth. Yet you also strive to overcome these challenges. You learn from your mistakes. You help each other. You dream of better futures. Captain Jiwoo absorbed this information, understanding its immense implications. You're saying we're ready for something bigger. You are ready to begin the journey, the AI clarified. The path is long, but you have shown the potential to walk it successfully. The chamber filled with new displays. Technologies and concepts far beyond current human understanding. But they weren't just technical specifications. They were accompanied by ethical guidelines, philosophical considerations, warnings about potential consequences. Knowledge without wisdom is dangerous, the AI explained. We offer both. The choice of how to use them remains yours. The crew stood in silence, watching as the station revealed more of its true nature. It wasn't just a repository of advanced technology. It was a gateway to a new stage of human development, offered by beings who had walked this path before. Your species stands at a crucial moment, the AI said. You have begun to reach beyond your world. You have started to understand your place in the cosmos. Now you must decide how to move forward. The holographic displays merged into a single, brilliant pattern that seemed to encompass all they had learned. The station wasn't abandoned. It was waiting, and humanity had proven worthy of its trust. Through Min Sio's translator, the AI's final words resonated with profound meaning. The next step awaits. Are you ready to begin? The transfer of knowledge began slowly at first. Captain Jiwoo watched as streams of data flowed from the station's systems into their computers, carefully filtered and organized to prevent overwhelming Earth's current technology. The AI had designed the information package specifically for humanity's level of development. This is only the beginning, the AI explained through Min Sio's translator. The full database contains more information than your current systems could process. We will provide it in stages as your understanding grows. The crew worked tirelessly, preparing the first transmission to Earth. Jiwoo spent hours crafting the message, knowing these words would mark a turning point in human history. To Earth Command, she began. What we have discovered here goes beyond anything we could have imagined. We have made contact with an advanced artificial intelligence, left behind by a civilization that transcended physical form. They have chosen humanity as worthy successors. In the station's central chamber, Dahai and Hanbin worked with the AI to understand the first pieces of advanced technology. The station showed them improvements to their propulsion systems, more efficient power generation methods, and ways to enhance their communication capabilities. Each discovery builds on your existing knowledge, the AI told them. We do not give you solutions. We show you how to find them yourselves. Min Seo continued translating the vast library of information. She found histories of other civilizations, chronicles of their developments, and guides for advancing beyond current human limitations. The AI had prepared teaching programs that would help humanity understand these concepts gradually. As the days passed, the station revealed more of its secrets. Yu Jin discovered advanced defense systems that operated without causing harm. Taeyang learned about medical technologies that could revolutionize human healthcare. The station keeps surprising us, Ji Woo said during a crew meeting. Every answer leads to new questions. Every discovery opens new possibilities. Finally, the AI presented them with a small crystal device, no larger than a human palm. It pulsed with an inner light that matched the station's rhythms. This key contains the coordinates of other stations, the AI explained. When you are ready, it will guide you to them. Each holds different knowledge, different aspects of our legacy. The crew gathered in the main chamber for their final meeting with the AI. The holographic form shimmered before them, its patterns more complex than ever. Remember, it said, this is not an ending, but a beginning. You carry with you the seeds of humanity's future. Use this knowledge wisely. Let it guide you, but do not let it define you. Jawu held the crystal key carefully. How will we know we're ready for the next step? The key will respond when your civilization reaches appropriate development stages. Trust in your own path. The journey is as important as the destination. As the stellar pioneer prepared for departure, the crew made final checks of their data storage systems. Everything they had learned, everything they had been given, was secured and backed up multiple times. It feels strange to leave, Dahai said, looking back at the station through the ship's viewport, like we're leaving home rather than returning to it. We'll be back, Jiwoo assured her. This is just the first chapter of a much longer story. The station's lights pulsed in a farewell pattern as the ship disengaged from its docking position. The crystal key glowed softly in its secure container, promising future adventures and discoveries. As the stellar pioneer set course for Earth, Jiwoo looked at her crew. They had come into deep space as miners, searching for resources to fuel humanity's expansion. They were returning as pioneers of a different kind, carrying knowledge that would transform their civilization. When we left Earth, she said to them, we thought we were just another mining expedition. Instead, we found humanity's invitation to join something greater than ourselves. Our real journey is just beginning. The ship accelerated toward home, leaving the ancient station behind. But they carried with them more than just data and technology. They carried hope, hope for humanity's future among the stars. In the ship's secure storage, the crystal key continued its gentle pulse, waiting for the day when humanity would be ready for its next great leap forward. The stars stretched out before them, no longer just distant lights, but beacons guiding them toward a future filled with endless possibilities.